Welcome back to the Campfire. My name is Andrew.
I'm Joe.
I'm Luke.
I'm Chris.
So, today we're going to be talking about conformity, compliance, and obedience. For example, sneezing. People say bless you. That's an example of a social norm. Andrew, would you agree?
Yeah, what's up with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's just a polite manner.
Do
Looks
you
like a
do it
mannerism
now,
thing,
nowadays, in the
kind
current
of.
year?
Yeah, I did it yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you remember
I
the
was
first time
sitting
you
there.
started?
Oh. Probably when I was introduced to it.
By who?
As a wee lad.
Mm.
Just everyone. Like,
Something he's
your
wearing
own
like
public.
that.
Society,
Your own
really.
public, and if I sneeze, someone will say bless you. And I'll be like, oh, do I have to do that now? I do.
So you never thought about why you did it?
Yeah.
Just kind of
No.
did it. Interesting.
No.
It's just something that everyone
kinda-
accepts.
It's intriguing.
Yeah, it's kind of
Something
a
everyone accepts.
compliance, too.
No one really questions it.
Yeah.
I'd say it's more conformity than compliance, because like similar to like
Definitely.
wearing white Air Forces, just everyone does it, and they might like justify it by thinking it's cool in like their own like perspective, like personally, but overall it's like as a result of like society's decisions, not their own.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's a good
There's
example
no-
of normative social influence.
And then there's no like individuality in it. It's just conforming
Yeah.
to society.
Yeah,
And
Joe,
that's
do you
what
raise your
I-
hand in school?
I do, Andrew. I do.
Why?
Good question. I never really questioned it until now.
You remember how when
Are you
Duane
trying to
asked me
blame
that, he didn't raise his hand to ask?
No.
Interesting.
Because I can't see you.
But I feel like in kindergarten, preschool, they always said raise your hand if you know the answer. Maybe it started then. I feel like it's an example of compliance.
So it's something that I
Yeah,
to be
because
authority
the
figure.
teachers taught you. Yeah, teachers did teach you that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now we just do it because we want to know something.
We do it even outside of school. It still happens.
Okay, that's kind of weird,
Well,
but
like at a movie theater, for example, like when you're going in on a seat, you always get space in between people, right?
yeah,
Mm.
like say there was a full movie theater, you would sit directly to someone that you
A
don't
packed
know.
movie theater,
Well, if
yeah.
it was
Yeah,
full,
yeah.
you wouldn't have a seat.
True that. But if there is seats, like say
Yeah.
there's like a full row in the middle,
Mhm.
right? But then there's like another row
Mhm.
that has like one spot left.
Yeah.
You definitely got to sit in the full row that doesn't have anything.
Correct.
So what I'm hearing is these social norms are kind of segues for conformity.
I'd say
Yeah,
so. I say they really
definitely.
build off of each other as we grow up.
Yeah. They're unspoken
All products of
rules of
society.
what everyone
Uh-huh.
should do.
Yeah. But who wrote these rules? Is society who we have to
That's a
blame,
good question.
or is there a more specific person or
Going back to
individual
the
in mind?
idea of white Air Forces, we could
Yeah.
segue off that once again.
I think that's
the idea of consumerism, capitalism, right?
yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
making money.
It might
So
have been
the-
Nike is
gotta
at
get
fault
everyone to
here.
fit in and buy our products.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nike's advertising.
American materialism.
Yeah,
What
I'd say
about
so.
Apple, iPhones.
That's a big one. That's a big
That
one.
is a
Andrew.
large one.
Everyone has to get an iPhone.
If you don't
No
get an
matter how
iPhone, you're a
much
loser,
power.
apparently, according to society. Am I right?
Yeah.
Chris,
you
have
wanna
you ever had a
FaceTime later?
Samsung?
No, I have an iPhone 11 right now. That's
Chris,
what
have
I'm
you
really
ever
watching.
made fun of someone with Samsung?
No.
I
Personally,
have.
I don't think. Okay.
I can say I have.
I definitely have. Yeah.
Oh
And-
yeah, you're right.
and I
right,
regret it,
you're right.
obviously, because
Makes
now I'm
fun of
aware.
Chris.
Yeah.
I'm
I-
aware.
I don't
When you
regret
make-
it.
When you make fun of someone's like Android quality, like remember that meme in like I don't know, like 2012.
Yeah.
You make fun of people's phone quality.
Yeah.
Man, these are just
That's still a
fallacies
joke. I
that
still see
you're
that on
not true.
TikTok nowadays. Speaking of TikTok,
Mhm.
many trends on TikTok just get catapulted into extremism, especially as people just keep posting it using the same sound. It gets shared. It's just like honestly.
You know what trend that came
Redundant.
up was pretty funny?
What was that?
What's that?
The crate
What trend?
challenge.
The crate challenge. I
challenge.
did enjoy
Good
that
one.
one. I feel
Just
like people,
That was a good one. That was a
people
good one.
didn't do it because they wanted to do it. They wanted to just be famous or just do whatever other people were doing, and it got a lot of people hurt.
Some
And-
people thought it was
Yeah.
funny though.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
personally found it funny, but sometimes it was just at the expense of others. And
You
is that right?
humored at the
No.
expense and pain of others. Wow.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't say expensive others at the crate challenge, but what about the this devious lick nonsense that's been going
that's it.
around?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I feel
It's
like
justifying felonies to
that's a
younger
large,
generation.
that's a
Yeah.
good example of conformity.
Crazy.
Everyone, so many people have done it throughout like high schools, and not even middle schools, even
Exactly.
elementary in America.
Young hooligans.
I'd say I
You-
blame TikTok, not TikTok
Have you
itself.
heard of the
but
yield?
You're
users.
blaming these social media platforms that
No, what's that?
Yeah,
Andrew?
that catapult these ideas.
create.
Yeah.
these-
Have you guys heard of the yields
Good
ones
ideas.
now?
I have. Would you like to explain
Yeah,
it to the
the yields
audience?
are just giving back to people.
Mhm.
Okay. So the devious lick, right?
Redemption.
Was taking stuff off like sinks, taking whole
Mhm.
sinks out of bathrooms.
Soap
Stealing and
dispensers.
vandalism.
Yields, on the
All of
other
the
hand,
above.
that's giving back, right? Like
Mhm,
you'll leave a
mhm.
$20 bill on the toilet for the next person. Positive
Yeah,
influence.
yeah. Decorate
I
the
see.
bathroom with Christmas decorations for
Oh,
the
like the
seasons.
Oh, I
sneaky.
saw that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
funny one.
That's a good
But
one.
someone
Good one.
I saw
vandalized
that
it
one, yeah.
after,
So conformity can also be a positive thing, such in these situations, and almost always, sadly, unfortunately, it's a result of a negative thing. But if that's what it takes, I guess that's the expense the sacrifice we have to make for good things to happen.
So it's like ipso
I think
facto.
it's
I'd say
I
so.
think it's usually devoid of good and bad. I think it's just
Really.
whatever the power of the crowd is, whatever that happens to
Oh,
be.
good point. Good point.
The majority of like
Whenever I see in my
Yeah.
For You page, I start thinking about that.
Exactly.
Something with the TikTok
I share it to
algorithms and the
people.
users, I'd say, are definitely
Yeah.
to
Good
blame
input, Joe.
for some of these errors in society, especially
Yeah.
like justifying theft as a result of a
What about
TikTok trend.
something more rational, like informational social influence?
Mm.
You guys know Squid Game?
Yeah.
Everyone's talking
I
about it.
have,
Everyone's
yeah.
saying, "Oh, it's a great
New
show.
trend.
Good show,
Yeah.
good show.
You want to watch
The
it because everyone's saying how
Greene
good it is."
show.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's kind of like the
Yeah.
logic, right? If everyone's doing it, right, you
Mhm.
kind of have to, and you hear it's good,
Well,
so it has to be.
Like, oh, you haven't seen Squid Game? You should watch it. And you feel pressured
And
to
they-
watch
they
it, and
bring
not
up,
because
like,
you
the
want to
rating,
watch
you're
it,
like, yeah.
but because people are telling you.
I was actually kind of arguing the opposite: is that everyone's saying it's
Oh.
so good, and that's why people are watching it, which would be informational. You know, people are recommending
Luke.
it because it's actually good, not just because
That's an
people are watching
interesting
it.
take. Do you think people are more inclined to like it because people are saying it's good, or less inclined? Or do you think it just depends on the person?
It depends on the person and
Yeah.
the way friends will advertise it to others.
True that. True that.
Also, don't you think like the rating plays a role? Like someone sees a high rating on like that show or
Exactly.
movie,
Especially
they're
with
like, oh, it
critics
has to
versus
be
like,
good,
the
so I'm
audience.
gonna watch it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
like
I
Rotten Tomatoes
mean,
versus the audience score.
Yeah. Like, people take that
like
into different accounts.
like when I hear
Ooh.
people talking about it, I don't hear, "Oh, you don't watch Squid Game? You suck. You're a loser." I
Yeah.
hear, "Oh my God, you haven't seen Squid Game? It's so good, bro." That's
Yeah,
what I hear.
good point,
So,
good
It's
point.
informational,
Yeah.
Good
in my
point.
opinion.
Good point.
But
Unlike
there is
devious,
that
that's
inherent
more like
pressure.
the yields, where it's like a positive thing and it gets catapulted into like something good. Unlike devious licks, which have been like really the opposite direction is what they're heading in.
Yeah, I concur.
Have you used Yelp before, Luke?
No, I can't say I have, but I know many that do.
Yeah. Would you say that's a informational social influence?
100%. I mean, if you want to go to a restaurant and you see a bunch of people said,
It's terrible.
this place sucks, the
Mhm.
staff is mean and the food is bad, you know,
I can
you're
name a
not
couple
just
places.
you're not just avoiding that place to avoid not fitting in, you're avoiding that place based off of logic.
It's not something. It's not even
True.
you haven't experienced the restaurant and how poor it is, but you still avoid it because of what other people
Totally
say.
off someone else's reviews and not your own experience. It's kind of
Exactly,
crazy.
exactly. And that's something
Yeah,
that
that's
people.
that's a whole nother
Mhm.
rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's something that we can't really stop. But is it morally right to judge your actions based on others' opinions? Andrew,
I don't think so.
agree.
you don't think so?
I don't think so. No. Not one
But you
bit.
gotta experience it for yourself, so before you make your own rationale and like
Mhm.
that something, rather than just
Yeah.
trusting other people's kind of.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Joseph and I were talking about this with Mr. Corcoran and Semantics is
Mhm.
how much we base our opinions off of stuff that we've never experienced.
And is it? I think it's fair for the person to not want to experience it. I just think it's wrong that they should have to make that decision based off other people's opinions.
Totally off someone else's opinion.
Obviously,
Yeah.
we shouldn't force anyone to like experience something themselves. But I wish that like it just didn't start. We addressed the problem at the root and not having people be influenced by such opinions,
I mean,
especially when they're
I
radical.
I think it extends beyond experiences and like, for example, racism is partly has to do with that. Is that homophobia too? Like people talk about, I don't like X set of people when they choose to completely not interact with whoever they choose to dislike.
That also applies to families. People growing up with racist or homophobic parents tend to be racist or homophobic themselves without even like being open minded because of their upbringing. And it's not something they can control either.
True. Yeah. I think to a certain degree, you can. Some people who are close to their family will, kind of just believe what their family believes. Other people
Yeah.
Will choose to, I can't think of the word, but branch out.
So the idea of like compliance can also lead to racism when you like listen to your parents to an extent.
Yeah.
Compliance can lead to a lot of negative outcomes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why do we listen to our parents? It's because they're our parents, right?
I'd say
It's
so.
like a social construct.
Yeah.
What you think?
Yeah.
Joe, I saw you at homecoming yesterday.
Oh, I saw you too. It was pretty fun. I enjoyed spending time with people.
Did you hop in the mosh pit at all? You know, when everyone
I
got
was
up
there.
in there?
I was in that mosh pit. Yeah, correct.
I did too. It was
Really?
it was a rave.
Do a little dancing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was doing my dancey dance.
I saw some other people not in the mosh pit standing alone. What did you think of that, Andrew? What do you think of those people?
Well, I kind of fell into the normative social influence, and I hopped right in that mosh pit.
Right.
Getting in there,
yeah.
jumping up, doing the bop. You know, but I could understand why people didn't do it. Maybe they felt like they didn't fit in. Maybe they didn't want to.
Like a safety thing, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe a safety thing. Maybe.
But is it kind of unique that a majority of the group chose to conform and just go in the mosh pit at the risk to their own health?
I really don't think they thought about their own health at that point.
Yeah. I think there's factors. There's factors.
There's mostly factors at play.
How many bystanders that weren't dancing before started dancing when the cha-cha slide came on? That's very interesting.
I was definitely one of them.
You know, Duane, I think I find myself in that same boat.
And when Cotton Eye Joe came on, I was doing it.
You were livid.
He's doing it, doing the job.
I was spinning. I was tapping.
But Andrew,
if I didn't know you, I might have thought you were Cotton Eye Joe yourself.
I know. I was doing it.
Andrew, let me ask you a question. If there was no one out on that dance floor and Cotton Eye Joe started playing, would you have done it yourself, by yourself?
I don't know. At that point, I don't know, Joe.
I don't think you would have.
I can say I would have.
I don't think you would have.
I definitely maybe wouldn't have. Maybe if money was on the line, I would have danced. But with no money, would have been too embarrassed.
With no benefits, just you by yourself.
Yeah.
No, it would be embarrassing. That's a key word here. Key word at play.
It's the fear.
Embarrassment.
It's the fear.
Everything leads back to fear. Everything leads back to fear.
Everyone does it because they're okay with everyone else doing it too.
And how do you
singing along?
Unusual.
Like a music. Like
that's pretty similar.
A great song comes on. When would you sing along?
I would sing along.
Oh yeah.
What if you're the only one singing along?
Then you'd be embarrassed.
No, I think that kind
what
of
if
ties
everyone
into,
else is?
De-individuation as well.
Yeah. Individuation.
If you're screaming your lungs out and everyone else is too, then you don't seem that weird.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's like a concert thing, right? Is that kind of cool? Like how like the whole crowd sings at the artist.
Exactly. Weird. That can be a scary concept when you think about how it applies to something like a school fight or something violent as opposed to something as innocent as a school dance. That can be scary to contemplate.
Yeah.
You know what I noticed?
What's that?
At the football games, all the students on the left side of the bleachers, they're all standing on top of like the bleacher seats.
The fan section, I believe it's called.
Well, yes.
Well, yeah, but like on the right side of the bleachers, like the same bleacher. Yeah, student section and like regular side, right?
I am aware of what you're talking about.
Everyone is sitting down, and then there's just a bunch of people standing over where we are, right?
I have.
What's up with that?
I'm not even sure how it started, but it seems to be tradition.
Yeah.
But can you really? Where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line between tradition and conformity?
Oh. I mean, is tradition not just a more time-proofed form of conformity? Would you not argue that?
I would somewhat agree with that. But would you feel that tradition is more of a positive connotation than conformity? It's something that you should be doing rather than something you should not?
Not at all.
Really?